Hello, how we can debug Angular application? I have created some simple application where I defined two functions. This is factorial function and Fibonacci function. I use service which I created with those two functions. So I add one recursive function, and second one is function with loops for debug purpose. I have added of course in app component here is input field where I get number and inject it into function and then print result. And also for Fibonacci the same action, inject and then print the result. Also I add for debug purpose this new syntax from previous version. So, and here is our app component where I have two variables and one array for loop debugging, and also I have two Fibonacci and factorial function which calls service, which I injected in constructor. So let's talk about debug. When we need debug, we need to understand how it works. We need to understand where is exception or some errors, and also different, and try something to debug to find how our changes affect our code. So here the easiest way to debug is to use console log, and I also add in service. I suppose no. Let's add. Oh, here it is. We can use this prints into console to the real request, and we can print each value, but it rubbish our code, and we and also consumes our runtime time and memory and thread action for our browsers. It consumes resources, so it's not very cool way, but of course if very important slice of code we need to log it. So let's save these changes, and we can debug it in our browser. So let's see to our browser, so we can open inspect and we can see our console. So here is our Fibonacci, here is input, we can define tree and calculate, and we see the result. Here is that log which we define it print that we input tree. For Fibonacci we have the same. Top console, we see none because we do not input because it's work breakpoint from browser, but let's define and we see that we requested 3 and the result is 1. So let's continue. Next step, this is easiest way that we can. Next way is to debug our code. Of course, on worked site, which written in Angular, it's very difficult because Angular code compiles into JavaScript code and we don't understand, so we need to do it in development mode. So when we develop our application, we can in our browser select sources, and here we can see our app folder, and here we can see our classes and HTML code and CSS code. So let's debug. For debug purpose I add breakpoint here, so each time when our action call this code, the running of application stops. Let's try. This is Fibonacci function. Let's add and try to run. So now we can see that we stop our execution stop and pause it. So we can see that for now we call function with n equals 6. Here it is, and we have first iteration where a equals 0, b equals 1, temp variable equals 0, and let's iterate to next. Next we come to this line and we can see that n equals 6 and then not equals 0, so we can't return a. This is so yes, we can see it's 6. Also we can see this variable here in this window. So let's move to next step. We can see that if n equals 1, we return b variable, but it not equals. So we iterate to next line. Here we have loop, and in this loop we define e equals 2. If e less or equals 6, that's true because e less than 6, we increment our I variable. So let's move to next, so we can see that it's 2, and we move to next line. In next line we redefine our variable temp, which we defined earlier. So we sum a and b, and then we redefine a variable which was 0 to equals b, which was 1. So next we can see that tmp variable equals 1, a equals 1, b equals 1, and b equals next. We move to next iteration. In this iteration we have e equals 3, so we continue iterate till our I will be more than n. As you can know, n equals 6. So when n e will be 7, the iteration stop. Let's continue. Now 5, 6. So when it was 7, we return b, and b equals 8. So what next? We return 8. Return this value to we define this value to fib number 8, and now fib number is equals 8, and we can see that we return to our HTML code. And next turn to component, and we reload our page. So result is, let's see, 8. We change our result. I deleted that breakpoint and that new breakpoint to debug this for loop syntax. Let's continue. We return to calculation service, and here we go into our array, and we can see that string array, now we on index 0, and we looking at create first element. So why it didn't show? Earlier it shows index. Okay, next. Yes, next is update in our array. Maybe so it is first index, and iterate to third element and to last one. Delete. Here it is. Okay, here is index. Here is value, here is index. Here index, but this is fourth element. So let's continue, and that's all. So this is the way how we can debug using or developer instruments in browser. So other type of debugging we can when we work with application on remote service, we can see the debug and see networking. Here it is, and we can see waterfall of calls, what we call index, clients, files, different, and also we can here monitor our memory. We can define memory leaks and etc. We can use recorder. We can have performance inside, security, application, memory. Here it is. So we can make, oh, here is, we can see our memories which we use. Here is snapshot. We can save it, and we can see most important part of our application is compiled code, and yes, sure. So the other way to debug our application in browser, we have developer tools for Angular, so we can find it in Chrome Web Store. Let's install it, add extension. Okay, so here is our extension. Okay, here it is, application. So now it turned on. Okay, so we added our extension, and now it shows that we need to open developer tools and select Angular tab. Let's try to do it. Inspect Angular. Now we can see our Angular developer tools. We can see here components. Here is router outlet. We can see our array. We can see all properties. Here is factorial, Fibonacci numbers, string array, and T2 variables. Let's see. We can run profiler. Okay, we can see injector element hierarchy. We can see app component which has router outlet. Then we can inspect element. Let's inspect this app component. So here we can also change variables, and it change here array. We can modify it and see what happened. Injection token, injection services, properties. Because of my application is very simple, we don't have a lot of information from this extension. So how we can debug in VS Code? Here we can add breakpoint, and we need to configure our debug configuration. Run let's find it. So we can navigate to preferences, settings. Here we can find debug, and in the bottom we can find debug, and in bottom we can find launch configuration. No, that's not one. Don't save. Debug. And we can configure here. Open file, launch file, web app Chrome, and here we need to change port because we use 4200. So let's save it. We have added breakpoint, and we need to try to call the factorial method. So we run browser. So here they are. We can see that if we factorial function 33, and we can see, let's add breakpoint here. Okay, reload and factorial, add breakpoint, factorial 5. Okay, terminal debug. So okay. Let's run our application. So now we can see I just you make sure that you open this folder. From this folder then you can select configuration. Here is our configuration, Chrome use, and then we can run our application, and it should run for us the browser. So now it started. As you can see, what we need, we want to debug our component. We add breakpoint here and here, and we also add breakpoint in service here and here. Let's try our debug. Let's select and type calculate. As you can see, we stop on this point. we can see this log factorial. We can select this value and in debug console we can write test, just test. Okay, and let's see in inspect mode. Why? Okay, let's see console. Okay, let's continue. And let's see what in console. Request is number. Okay, it's number 3. Let's continue. 2 and 1. Okay, this is date, and it ends. Let's see our console. The factorial request. Okay, let's try this Fibonacci, and we can continue. Here it is, our debug point. Okay, here is num equals 2. Let's define num equals 4. Okay, let's see, num now 4, because we changed it. Let's continue our execution and see in console. We can see that we change our variable to 4. Let's continue to debug. So you can see now we in loop in our service, so it work. So to continue without stopping, we can press this button. So it ended, and we can see 3. Let's again, we can see 3. And we can continue also from our browser. So it works. Okay, let's stop.